Gesta Hammaburgensis ecclesiae pontificum is a historical treatise written between 1073 and 1076 by Adam of Bremen, who made additions to the text until his death. It is one of the most important sources of the medieval history of Northern Europe, and the oldest textual source reporting the discovery of coastal North America. It covers the entire period known as the Viking Age, for the foundation of the bishopric under Willehad in 788 until the rule of Prince Bishop Adalbert in Adam's own time. The text focuses on the history of the Hamburg-Bremen diocese and its bishops, as the bishops had jurisdiction over the missions to Scandinavia. It also gives a report of the Norse paganism of the period. The existence of the work was forgotten in the later medieval period, until it was rediscovered in the late 16th century in the library of Sorrow Abbey, Denmark. Contents. The treatise consists of the following parts: an introduction addressed to Bishop Willehad. Book 1, History of the Archbishopric of Bremen and Hamburg-Bremen. Book 2, History of the Archbishopric Hamburg-Bremen. Book 3, Biography of Archbishop Adalbert of Bremen. Book 4, Descriptio Insularum Aquilonis, Geographical Description of Northern Europe. Adami Apologus ad Limarum Episcopum, a dedication to Bishop Willehad in hexameters. The text is one of the most important sources of Northern German and Scandinavian history and geography in the Viking Age and the beginning High Middle Ages. It covers the relations between Saxons, Wends and Danes. The third book is focused on the biography of Archbishop Adalbert of Bremen. Adam based his works in part on Einhard, Cassiodorus, and other earlier historians, consulting the library of the Church of Bremen. The text as presented to Bishop Willehad was completed in 1075–1076. The historical context is Bremen's position as a major trading town and a hub of naval traffic. After the death of Bishop Ludwig, the see was given to Ansgau. It lost its independence, and from that time on was permanently united with the Archdiocese of Hamburg. The Archdiocese of Bremen was designated the Mission of the North, and had jurisdiction over all missions in Scandinavia, and the entire scope of Viking expansion in the north, throughout the Viking Age, until the Archbishop of Hamburg-Bremen had a falling out with the Pope, and separate archbishopric from the north was established in London in 1105. Adam is also an important source of Viking Age Norse paganism, including the practice of human sacrifice. The description of the temple at Uppsala is one of the most famous excerpts of the Gesta. In this temple, entirely decked out in gold, the people worship the statues of three gods in such wise that the mightiest of them, Thor, occupies a throne in the middle of the chamber. Wotan and Frigga have places on either side. Thor, they say, presides over the air, which governs the thunder and lightning, the winds and rains, fair weather crops. The other, Wotan, that is, fury, carries on war and imparts to man strength against his enemies. The third is Frigga, who bestows peace and pleasure on mortals. His likeness, too, they fashion with an immense phallus. The fourth book describes the geography of Scandinavia and the Baltic region. It mentions numerous episcopal seats and churches, including Meldorf, Schnefeld, Verden, Pallen, Ratzeburg, Mecklenburg, Oldenburg in Holstein and Jumna. Beyond this, it gives a description of the coast of Scandinavia and of the Northern Isles, including Iceland, Greenland and notably Vinland, being the oldest extant written record of the Norse discovery of North America. Adam of Bremen had been at the court of Danish King Sven Estridsson and was informed about the Viking discoveries in the North Atlantic there. Author Adam is believed to have come from Meissen in Saxony. He was probably born before 1050 and died on the 12th of October of an unknown year. From his chronicles it is apparent that he was familiar with a number of authors. The honorary name of Magister Adam shows that he had passed through all the stages of a higher education. It is probable that he was taught at the Magdeburger Domschule. In 1066 or 1067 he was invited by Archbishop Adalbert of Hamburg to join the Church of Bremen. Adam was accepted among the capitulars of Bremen, and by 1069 he appeared as director of the cathedral school. Soon thereafter he began to write the history of Hamburg-Bremen and of the northern lands in his Gesta. His position and the missionary activity of the Church of Bremen allowed him to gather information on the history and the geography of northern Germany. A stay at the court of Sven Stritzen gave him the opportunity to find information about the history and geography of Denmark and the other Scandinavian countries. Manuscript tradition. According to Schmeidler, Adam created 3 versions of the text in the Convention of Schmeidler labeled representing his preliminary text. The work is given to Bishop Willehad and which he kept for his own use and supplemented with various additions. None of the 3 archetypes has been preserved. The most relevant surviving manuscripts are classified into 3 groups, labeled A, B and C. The best manuscript is of Group A, labeled A1, dated to the first half of the 13th century. Parts of Book 2, Book 4 and some scholia are also preserved in a Ms. dated California, 1100. Manuscripts in the B and C groups are derived from Verschnecks. They contain independent editions of scholia. The best Ms. in Group B was the so-called Codex Z, written 1161 halves, which was however lost in a fire in Copenhagen Library in 1728. Some copies of this Ms. are extant. The best Ms. in Group C, labeled C1, is Copenhagen Royal Library, Old Royal Collection, No. 2296 quarto, editions. The Editio Princeps was printed in 1595 after the now lost Ms. C2 by Erpold Lindenberg. It was reprinted as Scriptores Rerum Septetriennalium in 1609 and 1630. The 4th book was edited by Johannes Messinus in Stockholm in 1615, and by Stephanus Johannes Stephanius in Leiden in 1629. A revised edition by Joachim Johannes Maeder appeared in Helmstedt in 1670, reprinted 1706 by J. A. Fabricius in Hamburg. The first critical edition, based on Ms. A1, is due to Johann Martin Lappenberg, published 1846. It was included in the Monumenta Germaniae Historica series, appearing in a revised edition by Georg Waitz in 1876, and edited by Migne in 1884. The edition by Bernhard Schmeidler remains current.